Within the expansive realm of music, characterized by its ever-changing trends, there exist artists that challenge established norms via their distinct and innovative expressions of creativity. One artist who I personally believe that fits this description is Betcover, a relatively niche artist with immense potential. In the contemporary landscape characterized by the proliferation of commercially successful songs and formulaic music styles, Betcover emerges as a compelling personification of the significance of personal uniqueness and genuine artistic expression. Who is Betcover? Betcover, a band that was started in middle school, getting the name by a friend misspelling the word Betcover, and because it is easy to search for it on the internet. It is a band that was initiated by Yanase, a singer-songwriter hailing from Japan. Born in 1999 in Tokyo, not much of his early life was known, but he was introduced to the world of music and made his first contacts with it when his uncle gave him an electric guitar when he was in elementary school. He also participated in the marching band club in college, where he played the flute while in a band at that time. The artistic trajectory started throughout their middle school years, culminating in the publication of their first EP in 2017, during the age of 18. This laid down the groundwork for the creation of the sound they are creating by beginning with pop rock. High School EP. Out of all his projects, High School EP stands out quite a lot from his newly founded artistic departure. Though not my favorites, it shows the beginning of a new artist that is trying to find their sound. It is also noted that Yanase's lyricism in this EP is still fantastic. For example, in the song Cosmo, with lyrics roughly eliciting a feeling of wistfulness and sorrow, portraying an individual who appears to be engaged in introspection over their previous experience and the ephemeral quality of contentment. The reference to a glittering show continuing the surface suggests that there may be a facade or a mask that this individual had put on for the world, hiding the deeper emotion underneath. Transitions from summer to cold next season implies a change in circumstances or emotions, with the suggestion to stay indoors, put up your umbrella, and turn on the radio, perhaps symbolizing a retreat or escape from the challenges of life. The dread of losing something priceless and themes of beauty and love are discussed in the lyrics. The lyrics about making someone miserable with pretty words and the heart constantly seeking the one who knows the truth conveys a feeling of vulnerability, the repeating experience of being the last, and ultimately flying in the air might be a yearning for a more profound and transcendent connection. Continuing to 2018, Yanase released Thunderbolt Chainsaw, which is more oriented to the genre of indie rock. All of the songs are catchy and fun to listen to, and it is one of my favorite EPs of all time. One of my favorite songs of all time is actually 17, which depicts an expressive range of feelings such as boredom, sorrow, reflection, and a sense of personal growth and development. The first words being sad for you would imply a sense of boredom as the speaker muses on their lack of emotional reaction to a routine day. Ride the wind and burn down the city could also imply the speaker looking for an adventure and change in their life. The section where the speaker is saying reply to someone's love, those lines could portray a trouble or an unsuccessful love relationship. The speaker refers to terrible portrayal in student films, which might be seen as a reference to earlier errors or misconceptions. The phrase, "I will definitely answer your love," alludes to a desire to address someone's devotion and face the past. The song also mentions "seasoned in my heart," seems to be metaphorical and open to multiple interpretations, such as an emotional transition in life that can be alluded to different stages or emotional eras throughout the speaker's life. The statement might also be a metaphor for one's own growth and development. It might mean the speaker has gone through a variety of life events, each of which has contributed to their growth and development. It could also be a metaphor for love. This is a bit of a stretch, but it could be in a context that conveys ups and downs of a romantic relationship, where love may go through times of warmth, blooming, and regeneration. Despite being a bit cryptic, the lyrics 17, listen to me, 17, kill me, could be interpreted on how important it is to be heard and understood, as the repeating phrase, words that only I can say, alludes to the speaker's distinctive viewpoint or voice. Overall, the song explores the complexity of relationships, boredom, contemplation, and regret. Even if the past is painful and still leaves many unanswered questions, there is also a feeling of personal progress and readiness to go on. The use of the word 17 may be significant, while its exact meaning is left up for debate. In 2019, Yanase released his first album, Love Forever, which accompanies genres of indie rock, J-rock, and art rock. With his most well-known songs before the album Jikan, Hane, which is how I actually discovered the band in early 2020. I should also mention the glorious 12-minute epic closer of the album that was amazing and which I think is one of Yanase's best artistic portrait yet through his lyricism. These lyrics express a range of feelings as well as reflection and vivid imagery. Themes like hope, desire, death, and the contrast between light and darkness appear to be explored by Yanase. There is a strong sense of hope and yearning shown in the frequent references to the red window and the need to trust in its light. It could represent a longing for something or someone, perhaps a solace or a redemption. The speaker also alludes to the theme of morality and transition by making references to a dead cat and the darkness that sucked him in. It seems like the speaker is thinking on how fleeting life is and the trip that lies ahead. The lyrics are also ambiguous and symbolic, allowing for a variety of interpretations. The question "where am I?" and the reference to a darker darkness add to the ambiguity and mystery. This concept of contrast between light and darkness appears often throughout the lyrics. The blackness signifies unpredictability or terror, whereas the red window, which was previously mentioned, stands for light and optimism. The emotional environment of the lyrics is furthered by the contradiction. The use of phrases like deep meditation and the speaker's lack of fear could be interpreted to have a spiritual or philosophical undertone that explores concepts like enlightenment or transcendence. Near the conclusion, the speaker muses over the meaning of existence and wonders if they are indeed alive. The lyrics get a philosophical dimension because of this reflection. Themes like optimism, death, spirituality, and the quest for meaning in the midst of uncertainty are all touched upon in the song's lyrics, which together build a complex and thoughtful picture and what I believe is one of Yanase's greatest artistic depiction in music. In 2020, Kohaku saw Yanase returning to his roots in pop rock and J-pop. Despite notable differences from his prior album, this album remains one of the artist's most exceptional works, and in my opinion, it can be seen as a progression from his EP released in 2018. During an interview, Yanase acknowledged their dissatisfaction with the album, expressing the perception that their exertions to create a commercially successful track had been excessive. It is plausible that the record label Avex exerted influence upon the artist, urging him to produce music that was more accessible, as his last album had been deemed excessively experimental or unconventional. Kohaku primarily focused on the prominent path of J-pop. Although it does not possess a comprehensive nature, the album exhibits a diverse range of musical styles, including blues from the song Tokyo, neo-acoustic from Kodomotatsu, scum garage rocks from Disappearance, and lovers rocks from Jungle. In addition to the conventional dub reggae, punk, and folk components, this musical curiosity sets it apart from his other works. One of my favorite songs from the album is actually the closer, Love and Destroy, which I believe is a bittersweet closing towards this album. Maybe I'm just in awe towards depressing music, but Love and Destroy's lyricism effectively communicate themes of lost love, solitude, and the bittersweet nature of memories. The opening lines of the speaker describing "when my body hits the road, is my heart just watching it" suggest a sense of detachment or emotional distance, as the speaker seems to be reflecting on their own actions and feelings from an outside perspective. The mention of a growing shadow at dusk and the night becoming their city evoke imagery of solitude and introspection, as nighttime often symbolizes introspection and contemplation. During the song, the speaker compares himself to a child watching a lizard under a tree. This imagery can represent a sense of innocence or simplicity in their feelings, contrasting with the complexities of adult emotions. The mention of someone admitting their love for a summer student suggests a missed opportunity or unrequited love. The speaker expresses regret for not appreciating this moment earlier. The lyrics emphasizes tenderness and tears, reflecting the depth of the speaker's emotions. Wiping tears on a whim may indicate a certain vulnerability or sensitivity. The repetition of "I'm alone again" underscores the feeling of isolation or being disconnected from others. It suggests that the speaker might have difficulty connecting with or understanding people around them. The repeated phrase "love and destroy" appears to capture the dichotomy of love's intensity and its potential for heartbreak or destruction. It's as if the speaker is grappling with the volatile nature of love. Towards the end, there's a sense of rediscovery as the speaker falls in love again. It's as if they are revisiting their feelings and memories, finding new meaning in them.
Love and destroy, love and destroy,
We've reached towards Yanase's peak artistic portrait in Jakan, in my opinion. What I believe to be a masterpiece of an album that helped me through so much. And it is also what I believe the album that formed the group Betcover. As Yanase quit his record label Avex since 2016, though he was paid, but he did not own any of the copyrights towards his work. Therefore, he made the righteous choice of making the album with his own money so he could be responsible for his own art. Jakan was also recorded with a sound engineer that had been working with Yanase since 2018, and it was recorded at HMC Studios. Yanase felt after quitting his record label, he has become more of a band and feels that he is finally in charge of his art. Yanase also mentioned that he used to think about everything from songwriting to the sound arrangement, but now with being more of a band, his band members can play independently as long as a theme is shared within the band and everyone's sense of rhythm matches the theme. This album, as Yanase mentions, is more of one work of art. Overall concept of this was featured in their older works, but each song was more independent. But in this work, the themes and the images he wanted to create grew. The album features 10 amazing songs which correlate with each other to create one cohesive artistic portrait. Starting off with Yurei, or Ghost, which presents a series of vivid and surreal images creating a dreamlike or abstract narrative. The overall tone for the lyrics appears a mix of melancholy and longing, as the first part of this song, where an idea of a sea where ghost attacks create an eerie feeling. It's unclear if this is a real symbolic allusion, but either way, the song starts with a tense or otherworldly atmosphere. The mention of rushing to the bathroom and finding it difficult to digest, though a far stretch, could be a metaphor for desire to let go or work through challenging feelings and experiences. The phrase "two umbrellas, two sad hands" conjures up a picture of the speaker and their partner being separated or sharing a sense of grief. Thus, continuing with the themes of ghosts, the speaker converses into a conversation with a ghost who apologizes for the inconvenience. It is uncertain if the ghost is a real being or another representation of another idea. The recurrent theme of obsession with an answering machine may indicate an unfulfilled need for contact or connection, maybe with an emotionally distant person. It continues with a statement, "After all, I want you to pay attention to me," emphasizes a need for recognition and approval. Sensual and sexual images also come to play with expressions like "on the verge of criticality," "it feels so good," and "comfortable semen," brining obscene and sexual images towards the song. In the town where your weak sister lives, waiting for someone important, "I've been waiting here forever," is a repeated phrase several times in the song, reinforcing the sense of longing and expectation. Contrasts are frequently shown in the lyrics, like the overcast weather in Kanto, strength and weaknesses, waiting for eternity, and many more. Overall, these lyrics evoke a feeling of confusion and ambiguity that invites several readings. Themes of longing, unmet desires, and the complexity of human emotions and relationships are all touched upon. The imagery, fantastical and dreamy elements give this story depth and intricacy. We continue with the next song, Kitsune, or Fox, which lyrically narrates a situation involving a fox. In Japanese folklore, which is known for its cunning and sometimes mischievous nature, the lyrics incorporate elements of fantasy, wordplay, and imagery to convey a sense of complexity and intrigue. The opening lines, "Everyone give me a push, I'll travel just a bit further," seem to express a desire for support or encouragement from others to continue on a journey or face a challenge. The lyrics also suggest a cynical view of life and attribute it to the work of a naughty fox. This hints at the idea that life's challenges and uncertainties are like the tricks and mischief of a clever fox. The repeated phrase, "Look, I spy a tail, fox, fox," suggests that the speaker is observing or encountering a fox. In folklore, a fox's tail is often associated with its cunning and magical abilities. The mention of cicadas and the heat of the cool morning glow sets a scene with a summery atmospheric backdrop. Cicadas are known for their loud and persistent buzzing during hot summer days. The lyrics caution against placing trust in scraps of paper and suggest that the basis life is fantasy and masochistic fantasy. This might imply a sense of disillusionment or skepticism about the reliability of written or symbolic forms of guidance. The lines, "Come on, imprison me, won't you close the lid?" suggest a desire for confinement or a sense of feeling trapped. This could be metaphorical, expressing a desire to escape from life challenges. The repetition of phrases like "fox" and "the work of a fox" emphasizes the presence and influence of the fox throughout the lyrics. These lyrics create a mysterious and enigmatic atmosphere with elements of folklore and wordplay. The fox symbolizes complexity, trickery, and the unpredictability of life. And the lyrics seem to explore themes of skepticism, disillusionment, and the desire for support and escape. After the song Fox, we have Aidoru, lyrics conveying a sense of nostalgia, yearning, and reflection on past experiences. The speaker seems to be acknowledging that they moved beyond certain emotions or circumstances, and they express uncertainty about their future contentment with the idea that everything that will happen has been part of their dreams. The lyrics also contains elements of romantic longing and a willingness to leave behind the ordinary and embrace something extraordinary. Continuing on is the song Kaiten Tenshi, which is actually my favorite song of all time. It will be a disservice to not explain the intricacy that plays into this song. Starting off, The lyrics seems to convey a sense of nostalgia, introspection, and perhaps a touch of melancholy. They depict a scene on a department store rooftop where time seems to have stood still, and the narrator is reflecting on past experiences and emotions. In these haunting lyrics, we find ourselves on a department store rooftop, a place where moments are frozen in time and emotions are on display. These verses invite us to delve into the enigmatic world of memory, love, and self-reflection. Time has stood still, circular and apart. Here, we are introduced to the idea of a frozen moment in time. People are gathered in a circle, perhaps symbolizing the isolation or emotional separation felt by the narrator. The promise of basking in the sun broke down at that place. This line suggests the shattered promise of happiness or contentment. The fading sun could represent lost opportunities or dreams. Shadows that do not exist are dancing. Shadows represent the intangible aspects of life. Here, they dance, perhaps signifying the fleeting and ephemeral nature of happiness or love. Ambiguity adds depth to the narrative of the song with the line, "The lustrous love you whispered, is the sun piercing the east or the smell of alcohol?" That's not a misrepresentation. Maybe symbolizing hope with the rising sun, or the smell of alcohol signifying escapism. "You are an angel, let me see you dance," sets a dreamlike tone, suggesting a desire to witness something beautiful, like the dance of an angel. It may also symbolizes the narrator's longing for an idealized love or perfect moment. The phrase, "Why do I smile and laugh at your smile?" could suggest a conflicted emotional state with an underlying bitterness. The mention of the stillness of the wind can symbolize a moment of stagnation in the narrator's emotional journey and signify a period of reflection towards themselves. The final line, "Of course it was an illusion," acknowledges that the intense love they once believed in was just an illusion. Ending the song with a sigh may signify resignation or acceptance of this realization. In these lyrics, we journeyed through a department store rooftop, a place where time stood still and emotions swirled. It's a reflection on the human experience, our pursuit of happiness, the weight of memories, and the ambiguity of love. As the sun sets on our explorations, we left with the haunting notion that perhaps what we seek is not always what it seems. The midpoint of the album introduces us with the song Shima, or Island. Lyrics effectively conveying a sense of confusion, yearning, and reflection. The narrator appears to be thinking back on a period where they got a present, yet the memory is tainted with an uneasy sense of dislocation. It just adds to the sensation of confusion and alienation from their surroundings when they mention traffic and a wailing child. There is a desire to sleep for longer periods of time, maybe to escape the upheaval. A desire for escape or change, maybe a yearning for something different from their current circumstance, is suggested by the references to a lost plane and a wish for Western voices. Tears are mentioned, and the visual of perspiration on grimy concrete suggests inner distress. The phrase, "My tears are on my island," is repeated several times, and the query, "Where do your tears go?" suggests a desire for comprehension and a feeling of solitude. The island could stand in for a location of emotional solace or solitary solace, where one's tears are stored. In conclusion, these songs express a sense of alienation, a desire for change, and an inside quest for the meaning of one's emotions. Certain sentences are used often to emphasize how emotionally significant certain sentiments are. Song number 6 is titled Nige no Mado, which roughly translates to two-period window. These lyrics convey a sense of daily routine and monotony in the narrator's life. Each day seems to pass without much change, and the narrator feels stuck in a repetitive cycle. They mention doing nothing despite their efforts and finding only a bit of amusement when tickled, which hints at a subdued emotional state. Ultimately, the lyrics express a sense of resignation and the arrival of change or transition in the narrator's life. The repetition of the phrase "someone has to pick you up" suggests a new beginning or a departure from the current state. Moving on, we have a slow-moving song, Toi Toi Shinseki, which conveys a tale of a former relationship or meeting and elicit feelings of nostalgia and sorrow. The title's allusion to a distant cousin could imply that the relationship is not one that is especially close or intimate, which creates the mood for a bittersweet contemplation. Themes of longing, lost chances, and the passing of time, with the narrator thinking back on an emotional experience from the past, also relates heavily into this song. We continue the second half of this album with the 8th song of the album, Piano, which invokes a sense of change, nostalgia, and the passage of time, constantly reminding the listeners of the album title and how it plays it into time. The narrator reflects on the transformation of a piano, symbolizing the evolution of their own life and experiences. The piano represents something they hold dear, like a treasure chest filled with memories and emotions. As night turns into darkness, there's a poignant acknowledgement of the inevitable transitions in life. The mention of someone seeing a rainbow suggests the possibility of hope or positive change even amid challenging times. The reference to a bridge they will never cross again conveys the idea of missed opportunities or irreversible choices. Gravity, fallen leaves, human souls alludes to the weight of lives, experiences, and emotions, which they encourage letting go of, possibly as a form of catharsis. The repeated phrase of arriving implies a sense of anticipation or yearning, and the question, "Oh, piano, is that okay?" hints at a desire for permission or validation. The idea that the sound of the piano extends forever suggests that the impact of their experiences and emotions will persist even if they move on. The second last song of this album is titled Toge wo Nui Te Aroko, which roughly translates to Walk Without Thorns. Lyrics describing a poignant and somewhat nostalgic scene with a focus on sensory experiences and emotions. The mention of a 100 yen lighter could suggest a cheap and disposable item, but it's described as burning like it's drowning, which could symbolize a fleeting, intense experience. At the end of the song, the repetition of "I feel like I can meet you" suggests a longing to reunite with someone or recapture a lost connection. The act of rubbing and crying, as well as staining a uniform, may represent a sense of emotional release and vulnerability. We end the album with the song Popo, which depicts companionship and renewal. The narrator addresses someone who was once alone and lost, offering to stay by their side. They describe this feeling as strange, suggesting a newfound connection or bond. The imagery of GT sunbeams filtering through the leaves and the smell of regret evoke a vivid atmosphere of change and introspection. The repeated phrase "run, run," "cross the hill of thunder," and "let's go see the new sun" emphasizes the idea of moving forward and seeking a fresh start together. These lyrics capture a theme of companionship, growth, and optimism, which could be a fitting closing sentiment for an album, leaving the listener with a sense of hope and renewal as they move on to new experiences. To conclude this chapter, it can be seen that Jikan effectively embodies themes of melancholy, personal growth, and nostalgia among its very tracks, resulting in a unified album that established interrelated connections. Jikan continues to hold its position as one of my favorite albums of all time due to its incorporation of catchy songs with profound artistic significance, as well as its ability to effectively convey a multitude of emotions, resulting in a highly pleasurable auditory experience. To start off, Yanase's blueprint in mind while he was making this album was the topic of accompanying music. He wanted to make a soundtrack for an imaginary drama in which music is not the focus but rather correlates to some story. Tamago is also the album which I believe is Yanase's most artistic delve into his artistic portrait, as previously he was told that he should work on accompanying music only after he had adequately created a soundtrack kind of music that people had well received it, which was Jikan. Therefore, the timing finally came to make his art in music, which is Tamago. He also wants to create dramatic music that is not restricted by the rules of pop music. Yanase also mentioned that in this album he wanted to create something that depicts human beings, to create something that has universality, to create something that has the feeling of timelessness. This album was also recorded in one take, which I believe is very impressive, and the reasoning that is because the band having no time, and like classical music and jazz, Yanase did not want to edit on a PC. This album has 10 songs. The main genre of this album is art rock, progressive rock, and jazz rock. The album starts with the song Wothen, which encapsulates a narrative of self-reflection and yearning for a greater fulfillment in one's existence. The narrator engages in introspection over a previous period characterized by a sense of seclusion inside a desolate environment, represented metaphorically by a solitary star-shaped shadow. The advent of a vessel symbolizes a prospect for transformation and novel encounters, compelling individuals to relinquish their previous circumstances. The allusion to purple peonies and inquiries regarding the abandonment of one's family elicit a feeling of melancholy and deliberations on past decisions. The phrase, "the presence of additional feline creatures without footwear suspended from a structure composed of iron bars," allude to a realm characterized by ambiguity and hardship. The recurrent phrase, "with you, I don't even know your name, get on that boat," serve as a symbolic expression of a need for novelty and liberation, prompting contemplation on the pursuit of contentment and its elusive whereabouts. The words of the song effectively communicate a profound longing and a quest for meaning. The lyrics of this album's opening song establish the overarching topic of self-exploration, incorporating elements of introspection, yearning, and the quest for personal fulfillment as key components of the album's storyline. The next song we see is Chojin, which is a 9-minute epic. Yanase also chose this song to be the only one with a music video from this album, as it is one of the climaxes of the album, and it portrays the main character of the story of the latter, leaving the message open to the listener's interpretation. Chojin's lyrics, imbued with profound symbolism and poetic imagery, invite the listener on a metaphysical journey into the depths of a human experience. The concept of an ideal descending down the falls signify the transcendent nature of perfection, forever elusive. The falls represent the inexorable passage of time as the speaker grapples with the fluidity of language and the fleetingness of moments, comparing them to water. The imagery of summer crab with their blood depressed evokes a sense of vulnerability as the speaker confronts their own limitations and struggles. The humbled mouth and glowing sweat allude to the physical and emotional toll of this introspective journey. As the song progresses, the speaker grapples with the duality of their desires, acknowledging a fear of scars and deception while yearning for authenticity and depth. The departure of a loved one, symbolized by leaving even your shadow behind, reflects the theme of separation and the inexorable passage of time. The references to the sky over the city being brave and kind underscores the idea that nature, in all of its honesty and earnestness, provides solace and perspective amidst life's complexities. Ultimately, the repeated plea to stop it echoes the desire to halt the relentless march of time and find solace in the authenticity and simplicity of the natural world. These lyrics are a rich tapestry of symbolism and allegory, delving into themes of impermanence, authenticity, and the human struggle to navigate a complex and ever-changing world.
看護婦になりたかった看護婦みたいな格好してつって
The next song continues with Kabe, a jazzy rock-infused song with lyrics delving into themes of aspiration, transformation, and the interplay of desires and reality. The narrator expresses a longing to become a nurse, not just in profession, but also in appearance. This desire suggests a yearning for a particular image or role, possibly associated with care and nurturing. The mention of seabirds singing in the distance and a lotus blooming in an unexpected place, like an aquarium amidst a dump truck, symbolizes the contrast between the idealized image, the lotus, and the gritty reality, the dump truck. The reference to a silent face could imply a sense of isolation or disconnection from one's true self. The repetition of baraka, baraka, and phrases like it's throbbing and inside the wall of desire suggest a tension between desire and restraint, perhaps alluding to the struggle to attain one's dream and passion while facing societal or personal obstacles. The closing lines, I became earth, signify a transformation or surrender, while the narrator seems to accept their current states or circumstances. The next song in the album is the song Hit. It's a theatrical and elegant track, and the use of letter H is essentially a slang for sex in Japan, as it is pronounced as ecchi, which could mean obscene or simply sex. But the song is not about sex. Lyrically, the song is about a tapestry of intricate emotions, offering a glimpse into the labyrinth complexities of human existence. The recurring motive of love within the song's lyrics hints at a tumultuous, entangled connection that defies easy resolution. The reference to remains of a factory seen from a vantage point invokes a sense of industrial decay juxtaposed with the perspective gained through elevation, suggesting a heightened awareness of life impermanence. Crawling on the ground becomes a metaphor for a seemingly futile pursuit. The question, what's the point of crying, resonates with existential pondering, challenging the purpose of emotional investment. The refrain, I don't want to sell it off though, underscores a desire to preserve what is valuable even when it appears elusive. Sleeplessness serves as a metaphor for an awakened consciousness, as the narrator reflects on the sensory experience of wild strawberries and the ephemeral nature of life's fragrances. The mention of remembering and satisfaction upon grasping suggests the tension between attachment and release, portraying the ebb and flow of emotion. The sudden transition to a war at dusk introduces a stark contrast, symbolizing the unpredictable nature of life's battles. The stained glass and puffy eyes of the soldiers create a vivid, almost surreal imagery. The lyrics conclude with a call to embrace life's simplicity, personified by plum blossoms. Don't Wake Me Up expresses a desire to linger in the beauty of the moment, even as the narrator acknowledges the inevitable fall. The album continues with the song Ikato Tako no Samba, a samba-inspired song with elements of jazz rock, and one of the most accessible songs which I believe in the album. Yanase also told in an interview that he wrote that song at the saddest time of his life, emotionally connecting to the song until the end, which made him cry after finishing writing it. The lyrics of Ikato Tako no Samba are a tapestry of surreal and vivid imagery, showcasing the collision of disparate elements to evoke a profound sense of longing and displacement. The mention of the true octopus stranded in a pale desert paints a picture of isolation and incongruity, contrasting the vivid oceanic creature with the barren landscape. This juxtaposition signifies the narrator's yearning for connection in an unfamiliar and desolate place. The recurring refrain of "I want to dance the squid samba" represents a desire for liberation and escapism as the narrator grapples with the complexities of the foreign surroundings. This dance becomes a metaphor for the unbridled expression of their emotions. The rays of sunshine, with their power to expose hard skin, may symbolize vulnerability and authenticity, contrasting with the tower of civilization that rises above the plaza. The desire to touch and connect with another person underscores the yearning for human connection amidst the overwhelming backdrop of urban life. The lyrics culminate in a vision of midday fireworks and the desire to live authentically. Through the metaphor of the squid and octopus samba, this could represent a yearning for genuine experiences and connections in an alien environment. The second half of this album starts off with Aijin, a slow-moving melodic romantic song that depicts a surreal and enigmatic portrayal of love's complexities and the emotions associated with its absence. The metaphorical imagery and fragmented narrative create an atmosphere of intrigue and introspection. The mention of a broadcast being interrupted by a sewing machine symbolizes the disruption of communication, possibly representing the difficulties in conveying or understanding one's emotions. The freezing curtains invoke a sense of stagnation and emotional coldness, further highlighting the theme of disconnection. The refrain, "Oh, this is love, is it warm love?" hints at the ambiguity and uncertainty surrounding love. The narrator expresses a sense of confusion and doubt about the nature of their feelings, suggesting that love may not always provide the warmth and clarity they seek. The question, "Where are you tonight? Where did you go?" underscores the feeling of abandonment and longing for someone who has departed, leaving behind the pain of unrequited or unfulfilled love. These lyrics may be seen as a poetic exploration of the enigma of love, highlighting its unpredictable nature, the difficulty of communication, and the emotional turmoil it can bring. The fragmented narrative and the metaphorical elements invite the listener to contemplate the multifaceted facets of love and its often perplexing impact on the human experience. Continuing on with the rich tapestry of imagery and emotions that delve into the complexities of desire, longing, and the human experiences is the next song, Bara Bara. Lyrics that could be interpreted as fleeting moments of beauty and the narrator's intention to alleviate their partner's loneliness. The recurring theme of winter also could symbolize a sense of emotional coldness and desolation as the narrative feels like a hybrid looking for a place to escape, highlighting a sense of alienation and a quest for belonging. The imagery of falling apart and scattering, along with references to an ugly undergarment, conveys a sense of disintegration and imperfection, yet the desire to shine and the pursuit of love persist. The narrative takes a shift, introducing characters like Yukun and a wandering bear, suggesting a broader exploration of societal and existential themes. The lyrics depict a relentless search for meaning and connection, even in the face of uncertainty and impermanence. These lyrics can be seen as a poetic exploration of the human condition, delving into the dichotomies of beauty and imperfection, warmth and coldness, and the internal quest for connection and authenticity amidst life's complexities. Continuing forward is the song Tetsu ni Umaretara, which encapsulate a profound exploration of existential themes and the human condition. The metaphor of being born as iron and becoming a lump signifies the inexorable passage of time and the transformative nature of existence. It reflects the fragility and ephemerality of life, prompting introspection regarding one's legacy and purpose. The mention of a person flying above a government building introduces an element of rebellion and transcendence, symbolizing the desire to break free from societal constraints and expectations. This raises questions about the pursuit of individuality and authenticity in the face of authority and conformity. The repeated refrain emphasizes the transience of life and the elusive nature of knowledge or understanding. Breasts swaying in the sky evoke a surreal image, perhaps representing the intangible and fleeting aspects of desire and pleasure. The juxtaposition of crying happily challenges conventional notions of happiness and emotional expression. It suggests that true emotional depth cannot be easily categorized or understood, inviting contemplation about the multifaceted nature of human experience. The second final song is the title track, Tamago, which is an 8-minute song with genres of art and experimental rock. In the themes of existentialism in previous songs, this song weaves a tapestry of philosophical reflections and existential contemplation, employing vivid imagery and symbolism to explore the human experience and the quest for continuity in the face of uncertainty. The reference to the tumbling step of a frivolous woman evokes a sense of fleetingness and capriciousness in life's journey. Memories of Hong Kong serve as a backdrop, suggesting a transient and ever-changing environment that mirrors the nature of human recollection. The idea of forgetting words and becoming like plastic hints at the malleability and impermanence of identity and thought. The desire to dive may symbolize a yearning for deeper understanding and immersion in the complexities of existence. The refrain, "Please rest on your back if you have a body," invites introspection on the physical and spiritual aspects of being. It hints at the possibility of continuity or respite through the presence of another, emphasizing the interdependence of human connection. The mention of singing with frivolous woman and questioning the reality of memory underscores the ambiguity of the past and the fluidity of perception. Walking through an active forest represents the dynamic nature of life and the acknowledgement of important moments and the clearing of doubts as catalysts for potential continuation. These lyrics invite the listener to ponder the intricate interplay of memory, identity, and the human condition. They suggest that our journey through life, though marked by uncertainty and change, gains meaning and continuity through the connections we form with others and the moments that shape our existence.
20年間の負債を
The final track of the album is the song Aoi, which serves as a poignant and introspective conclusion to the album, offering a profound exploration of the passage of time, the complexities of human relationships, and the bittersweet nature of life's journey. The mention of 20 years of debt metaphorically represents the burdens and responsibilities that accumulate over time. The desire for a tank truck to crush it symbolizes a longing for a swift resolution to life's challenges. The juxtaposition of bright and sad reflects the duality of human nature, where moments of happiness are often tinged with sadness. The train becomes a powerful symbol, representing the passage of time and the darkness that sometimes engulfs our lives. The reference to the father's emptiness filling the window suggests a generational aspect, where the narrator reflects on their family's experiences. The imagery of people's eyes were stolen and being burned down by a single sunset alludes to the ephemeral nature of life and the fleetingness of opportunity. The caution not to chase red lights emphasizes the futility of pursuing unattainable desires. The song goes on with an encounter with a mermaid, and the college students adds a touch of magical realism, inviting the listener to contemplate the unexpected and surreal moments that life can offer. The mention of hot computer and strong wind alludes to the intensity of emotions and the importance of expressing them. As the closer to the album, these lyrics encapsulate the album's overarching themes, encouraging reflection on the passage of time, the significance of human connection, and the bittersweet beauty of life's ups and downs. They invite the listeners to embrace the complexity and existence and to cherish the fleeting moments of love and joy amidst life's challenges. What I'd like to mention before we close this chapter of this video is that Yanase also does other work such as being an instrumentalist and writer that helps with artists such as playing the flute for Koji Shimotsu's of Odoto Bakari no Kuni's fame album in the song Michelle, and helped to write the song Tabidachi by Adio. Other notable works of him would be in remixes, where the band was featured in artists such as Sunny Day Service and Creep Hip. The discernible impact of diverse musicians and artists on Betcover's body of work becomes evident upon attentive listening. During an interview, the individual indicated that B.J. Thomas served as a significant source of musical inspiration. He also stated that he was influenced by an appreciation for the disco music prevalent in the 1980s, which the individual's mother frequently played while driving. Yanase has furthermore disseminated a curated playlist that functions as a reservoir of creative stimulation for his musical compositions. One instance of artistic influence may be observed in the album Kohaku, where the artist drew inspirations from notable figures such as Marilyn Monroe,
I'm through with love, I'll never fall again.
Mac Miller,
Good news, that's all I wanna hear.
and Huko. On Jikan, we can see the musical genres of Theo C's, Jack White,
Thinking about taking it all the way to the top. Who's with me?
and Destroyer.
Solace's bride's been having second thoughts. She's had some time to
that are influences throughout the whole album. In contrast, Tamago has the artistic contributions of Japanese artists such as Midori, Yoshiko Sai, and Kenji Otsuki, which exerted a notable influence on Yanase's body of work. Limited information is accessible about the musicians who exerted influence on the artist's early creative endeavors. However, I am intrigued by the prospect of acquiring knowledge pertaining to the individuals who had a role in shaping his musical style throughout the production of his first album, as well as the earlier compositions featured on his EPs. The popularity of Betcover has had a notable upward trend, as evidenced by the inclusion of one of their songs from their debut album as the concluding theme in Yamishibai, Japanese ghost stories. Utilizing songstats.com as a source of statistical data, an upward trend becomes evident during the publication of his inaugural album in 2019, as indicated by a substantial increase in playlist reach. Specifically, the album garnered the attention of 2,493 people across 2 playlists, a significant surge from the prior count of a mere 87 reached individuals. A consistent trend is shown in the graph until the publication of the artist's second album, which resulted in a further increase in the number of users reached in the playlists. Specifically, in the year 2020, coinciding with the release of the aforementioned album, a total of 2,938 users were reached. The graph remained stable until the start of 2021, when G-Cotton was introduced, resulting in a significant increase in user reach, with a notable figure of 3,619 users. One possible explanation for this phenomenon might be attributed to the influence of Rate Your Music. Rate Your Music is an online platform that facilitates the rating and evaluation of albums, while also serving as a gathering place for a dedicated community of enthusiasts who are particularly interested in niche artists. Betcover gained significant attention on the internet due to the creative character of his tracks, which elicited a strong reaction from the Rate Your Music community. The album Jikan has received a total of 4,143 ratings, while the album Tamago has garnered 2,856 ratings. Additionally, Tamago achieved the 16th position among the top albums of the year 2022. The band's recent surge in popularity on Rate Your Music has also led to a discussion of the band by Mino Music, a music critic YouTuber from Japan, in one of his videos. Moving forward, there is a notable increase in the number of listeners, with a substantial growth of 287,032 listeners. In addition, Betcover also conducted live tours of their records, commencing with one of my personal favorite live albums of all time, which is comparable in quality to the live album by Fishmans. The musical performance, titled 2021-08-29, took place at the WWW venue in Shibuya, while their second live album, Gabio, was also recorded and performed at the same venue. Betcover recently conducted a tour in Japan on behalf of Tamago, which concluded a few months ago. Regrettably, my current place of residence is not in Japan, therefore rendering me unable to see their live performances. Nonetheless, I want to have the opportunity to attend one of their live performances in the future. Moreover, as enthusiasts from many global locations establish connections, a community on the platforms of Discord and Reddit was established as a result of the collective admiration for the musical group. To add on, the popularity of Betcover songs has been enhanced by several cover versions performed by other individuals, which I highly recommend exploring. Betcover's artistic ability in the realm of music has undeniably left a mark on my own affections, positioning the artist as one whom I genuinely derive tremendous enjoyment from. This musical ensemble holds a significant place in my own affections, and with the imminent release of their forthcoming album, I anticipate that this band will expand its reach to a broader audience. Goodbye.